Welcome to Amberg Acres. Well, today is the day that we're going to ditch the handheld sprayers. Or at least I hope we are. Let me clarify that a little bit. So I picked up this County Line sprayer. This is a 1 gallon a minute sprayer. It is a handheld sprayer, or what they call the spot sprayer. So you're supposed to just drive around and spray with the wand. But I decided I was going to make my own boom for spraying, so I could drive around the field with this wagon on the back and spray my field. So a while back already, I picked up these yellow nozzles that you see here. So let me take one of them out of there for you. So these yellow nozzles came from Amazon. And on Amazon, they do not tell you how many gallons per minute that nozzle uses. And I'm not sure if there's a code on there somewhere that tells you what they are. Basically, all I was looking at was the 1/4 inch NPT. Somebody else had put a link to these on either YouTube or Facebook or something, that they had made a sprayer and this is what they used. So in my head, I just went and bought them. You know, they were cheap. Went and bought them, only to realize they're not going to work with this sprayer, with this pump. So when you go out and buy these, sprayers, they are rated. They have different pump ratings, gallon a minute, 2 gallons a minute, you know, whatever. So this one happens to be a gallon a minute. So obviously these nozzles are made for a way bigger pump. So let me show you the nozzle that I just purchased and see if we can show you the difference. So this green one is the new nozzle. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I'll put these right up to the camera. Hopefully you can see the hole in the center. Very small hole on the green one, very big hole on the yellow one. So these green ones, again, are 1/4 inch NPT. These are a 0.1 gallon per minute nozzle. So if you take 0.1, and I have 6 of them, times 6, that's 0.6 gallons per minute. So that's almost a gallon a minute. So this is the nozzle you need. You could maybe go another size bigger, but you couldn't go up to a 0.2. You'd have to go maybe to a 0.15 if there is such a thing. But if you went to a 0.2, that would probably be times 6, that would be 1.2. That wouldn't work. You know, that you wouldn't have enough pressure on your pump to make that nozzle spray properly. So that's what I went and got. The nozzles themselves were not bad. I got these from an actual car wash place. The price of the nozzles weren't bad. The shipping was terrible. I ain't even going to tell you how much I paid for shipping for these little nozzles that you could send in the mail for $1.50 or something probably. So highway robbery, that's what this was. Amazon did not have this nozzle, or I would have tried to buy them on there. So they're basically the same. They're basically the same nozzle as far as the spray pattern is an 80-degree spray pattern. The difference is, like I showed you, the size of the hole. So we're gonna get this set up and test it out, and we're gonna see if it sprays. So let's get started. All right, so you're probably wondering how I made this. This is 1/2 inch PVC pipe. So then I put a T right in the middle, and I equally spaced these holes. So these are I drilled and tapped right into the pipe with a 1/4 inch NPT tap. So I'm screwing this right into the pipe. Now the only issue with this is if this pipe cracks or something, I gotta make the whole pipe over. Is that such a bad thing? I don't know. If you put a T at each spot and put a bushing in there, same thing. You're gonna have to cut the T out of there to fix it if it cracks or something. So this is just the way I did it. Up here on the top here, I had to bush it down and this is a 1/4-inch nipple that went in that fit the hose that came with the pump. Okay, so I have the rest of the hose coiled up underneath here and just strapped in. And I made this 2x4 frame by myself, put a little couple clamps on here, and this should spray. If I turn these nozzles all the correct way, the pattern is an 80-degree pattern. So it should spray and they should overlap, and I should be able to drive down the field and do about whatever this is, 4 feet wide, a 4 feet wide path, you know, and then just kind of overlap as I go around the field. So we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna go get some water. I'm gonna tighten these up. I'm gonna go get some water, and we'll hook it up, and we'll see if I can get this to work, to spray correctly. All right, guys. I hope you're gonna be able to see this. I put 3 gallons of water in here just to test it out, and I'm gonna go hit the switch, and I hope you're gonna be able to see this spray coming out of here. Yep, that's working. Okay, so you can see the spray path I got here. So I have almost a 5-foot spray path there. So that's good. It does appear to be leaking a little bit. I probably got to put tape on these nozzles. I think I'll just wait and try it out on the field before I do that, and then I'll come back and I'll tape those up so they seal a little better. Because this one here was spraying right on that 2x4, but it works. Okay, so you see the difference. I should have probably showed you how it sprayed with the other nozzles. It just ran out like a garden hose, and the tank was empty in a matter of a minute or so. You know what? It just poured out of there. So that works. So I got the right nozzles now. So we're gonna mix up some chemical, and we're gonna go over there and spray. I'm gonna try my Pasture Pro on the switchgrass area where I planted switchgrass, and we're gonna see if that works. Pasture Pro is supposed to be for like broadleaf plants only, or broadleaf weeds, for like in your grassy pasture, like say you do a horse pasture or a cow pasture. You're supposed to go out there and it's supposed to get rid of all them weeds and let the grass grow. So it's just the opposite of what I was using the other day. Was grass only, or grass out, I believe it's called. That kills only the grass and not the broadleaf stuff. So your clover will continue to grow using the grass out. So, and I'm not an expert on these chemicals, so I don't know what's in the Pasture Pro. I don't know what the chemical is, but I'm sure somebody else can tell you what that is. So we're gonna mix them up here, and we're gonna go over there, and we're gonna give her a whirl once. All right. So I was just reading up on this stuff here. Pasture Pro. I got this at Menards, so you know it's just comes in a concentrated gallon jug. It consists of dimethylene and diethanolamine salts, and you're supposed to use, on a low spray volumes, you're supposed to use 2 to 5 gallons per acre. All right, so I got my solution all mixed up. So according to the scale on this tank, it's saying I got 5 gallons in there. I barely got the legs full here. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, because it's supposed to be 15 gallons, so whatever. So I mixed it for 5 gallons. I put 5 ounces of the stuff in there to 5 gallons of water. So 1 ounce to a gallon. And we're gonna go spray, and it's all an experiment right now until I know what I need to spray. And we'll see how it does, and I'll get back to you in a couple of weeks, you know, if it actually did anything, if I have switchgrass growing or not. I don't know what category switchgrass is in. They have a category for ornamental grass. They have a category for other stuff on there. So I don't know what switchgrass is considered. So I mixed it up to what I thought, and we're gonna try it, and we'll just go with it. All right. Okay, guys. So I frost seeded this back when it was still frozen out here, and this is what, 15 feet wide maybe or so. So I probably got to do about 3 passes, and it goes up to there, and it goes all the way around, up around the rock up there, past my tree stand over there. It goes all the way down to the other corner down there, and then past the Pablo stand. And I planted switchgrass to try and make a border there that they have a little more protection. So I don't know, this stuff, the weeds are growing like crazy here. So I don't know if there's any switchgrass growing in here or not. I do not know what switchgrass looks like coming up, but there are some weird looking pieces of grass here. I'm assuming that might be the switchgrass. Let's go up here further maybe. So there's this kind of grass, there's that kind of grass, and that looks like regular grass to me. So I don't know that that's switchgrass. But there's all these other little shoots here where coming up here that I think is the switchgrass. So we're gonna spray. You can tell certain areas, like this area here doesn't have a lot of weeds, but then you get up that way and it's a lot of weeds up there. And so we're just gonna go all the way around, a couple laps around, get it all sprayed. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we're gonna hook you on the back of the trailer there, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see the spraying. We'll just take a few laps around here quick. They're talking rain this afternoon possibly, but it might miss us, so I'm taking a chance here. All right, how does that look? We'll see if you can see it. I'll take a lap or two around, and then I'll check it and maybe change the position of the camera. So I hope I didn't overspray. I did a couple of passes because it's very hard to tell sitting up on a four-wheeler if the grass is wet, if it's getting sprayed. When I'm doing it by hand, I can actually see it spraying on the leaves, so I know it's actually spraying, but it's very hard to tell. And I know it's spraying. I mean, I can see it spraying out here, so I know it's spraying, but so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and we're gonna mix up the next batch is gonna be Roundup for the beans, and then I'm also gonna add the Jolt right in there with the Roundup. Come back and spray the beans, and put the Jolt fertilizer down at the same time you're spraying with the Roundup, and we're gonna see how that works this year. As long as I got this working good, you know, I'm gonna use it now. I'm gonna start spraying. I'm probably gonna spray some of my trails and other spots so that I can get these weeds into control a little better. Hopefully, get some stuff planted in some different spots. So my jug of glyphosate says 1/4 cup to a gallon. I usually write it right on there once I figure out what works good. So that would be 1 3/4 cups. I got about 7 gallons in there. All right, let me go look at the bottle of Jolt, see what the Jolt says. So the bottle of Jolt says 1 ounce to a gallon. So that'd be 7 ounces. All right. So that rode pretty good with this strap on there. It didn't fly off or anything, so we're good to go. All right, so we're gonna spray the bean field now. I'm gonna get back to you in a couple weeks. This is June 12th, I believe it is today. So I'm gonna get back to you in a couple weeks, all right? I have a few more videos that are coming out on the pole barn and some other stuff. After those, then this video will come out. So that'll give me a couple weeks. And hopefully I can come back over here and see what this did, if it actually killed the weeds. I know in the last video I sprayed the clover over here, so we'll see what that looks like, and we'll see what the beans look like, and we'll see what the switchgrass looks like in a couple weeks before I actually post the video. I'm thinking in July, first week or two in July, maybe this video will come out. So, all right, we're gonna get spraying. I'll let you follow along. See how long the camera stands up straight. Well, it looks like my nozzles are plugged up. There is a strainer on the end of the hose in here, but you don't know that there wasn't little pieces of plastic or whatever in the hose from my tapping out the pipe. Anything could have been causing it. So we'll get this cleaned up and we'll finish spraying here. So it started raining last night a little bit while I was over there trying to get that spraying done, so I just quit. You're supposed to spray Roundup or glyphosate. You're supposed to leave it at least 2 hours before it gets rained on. So the nozzles are definitely plugged. I can see a little piece of plastic in there. So I don't know if it came from the tank or if it came from my you're not going to be able to see that. But it's definitely a little curly white plastic, probably came from my tapping. So we're gonna clean these all out. And we're gonna goop them up a little bit because they were leaking pretty good yesterday. So, yep, every one of them's got a little piece of white plastic in there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get these all out of here. And I'm just gonna give her a shot and see if that blows that all out of the pipe. There must be some in the pipe yet. I don't know how well you guys were able to see any of that, but I gotta look for a different magnetic base. I like the magnetic base. This has a really strong magnetic base on it, but the arm itself is just flimsy as heck. It doesn't work very well. I emptied the tank, so I figured that was about 7 gallons yesterday. So I think 7-8 gallons is perfect for this field right here. I went over it one time basically and it emptied the tank. So whatever was left, I don't know what I sprayed yesterday, but I could tell yesterday that it wasn't spraying because the tank was still full after I went all the way around the field a couple times. And now today I could actually see the moisture on the leaves, so I know it was spraying. After the first time of using this now, I think as long as I get these nozzles this cleaned out where I don't get the plugging up of the nozzles anymore, it's spraying just fine. But what I might do is I might take this board. I have plenty of hose left. Okay, I have plenty of hose left. I might take this board here and drop it down 6, 8, 10 inches maybe. It's spraying a very fine mist out of these nozzles, which is what I wanted because that's what my pump is rated for. So that's good. But it's almost like it turns into a mist, a vapor, and not necessarily spraying it right on the leaves. So I think if I would drop this down, and I'm gonna say a foot, but it's hard to say because I don't want to be hitting stuff along the way either, you know. But about a foot, we'll say. And we'll drop this down, and I think the next time it'll spray much better, and you'll get a better spray on the leaves of the weeds, if that makes any sense. All right, like I said yesterday, we'll come back in a couple weeks. We're taking a vacation here and stuff, so we'll come back in a couple weeks, like the beginning of July, and we'll see what this all looks like. We'll see what the clover looks like because I just sprayed the clover. We'll see what the beans look like, and we will see what the switchgrass looks like after spraying it. All right, so see you then. Here is the first modification to the sprayer. I added about a foot there. I believe I cut those at 12 inches. And I put some little blocks on here so that this stays in position where I had it before. And I drilled some holes in here, and I just put some pins in there so that I can take it back apart. Let me get a hammer. Just like that. Those will get looser over time, so I'm not real worried about it. Welcome back. It is now July 6th. 4th of July weekend, and if you remember, we sprayed this field a couple weeks ago. So right here behind me here is the area that was the worst, probably the worst area in the bean field here, and we sprayed that with glyphosate, and the beans are Roundup ready so that the glyphosate does not hurt the beans. So you can see it's all brown over there, so it did a pretty good job. Let's take a walk over there and look at it. You can see that it killed most of the weeds. You can see the brown, and then the other ones are really wilted, and the deer have eaten some of them off. They do eat the weeds. If you thought they didn't, they do. So it did a pretty good job here. I think in another week or so this will be pretty much clear. There's another area right over here. Well, actually all along here there was a strip here. I don't know why it's there. If I missed it when I plowed, that I didn't do a good job of plowing. And then a little bit up here, right up here. So that's all wilting and dying. So the spray works. You can see how nice the beans are growing. And like I said, that area, that part of the field down there looks way better than where we're standing. And that's where I put all that sawdust down over the winter down there. So I think it really helps. I really do. Putting that organic matter into the soil really helps, especially when you got this sandy soil up here. So let's go take a look at the clover plot that I sprayed. So you can see the first half that I sprayed way back, how many weeks ago, looks really good, except for these yellow topped flowers, which don't seem to be dying for some reason with anything I spray on them. And then here's where I just sprayed all the grass a couple weeks ago. So it's all brown. It's all gonna die in a couple weeks, more weeks. It'll look just like this here. So what I may do here before the end of July is come back and mow this once to get rid of these other weeds, and then that clover should shoot up before September, October. It should kind of fill in and grow, thicken up, grow decent. Not sure what to spray on these. I mean, I could try Roundup on them, on these yellow topped flowers. I could try Roundup, but you have to be very careful with the Roundup spraying in there because you'll kill your clover. So I'll keep working on it, and I'll let you know if I figure something out for these other weeds, because the clover needs its space to grow. And if you don't spray the weeds so it looks like this, it's going to look like that. You know, and I've explained that before earlier in this video. So let's go look at the switchgrass area and see how that spray did. So this is where we planted the switchgrass all the way around the field, about 15 feet wide. It all looks like it's wilted. I don't know if it's dying or not. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of the smaller stuff down along the ground is dying. It looks like it's dead, and the spray killed that. But whatever this stuff is right here, this taller stuff, it looks like it's wilted, but not all of it looks like it's dying. I mean, some of it does look brown, like it is gonna die. I don't know, it's hard to say. So we'll let this go a couple more weeks before I would spray it again and see what it looks like. And let's go up around a corner here and we'll see what that other spot looked like over there. So up here you can see where it's killing some of the stuff, and then here's a lot of grass growing, but then that other stuff over there, again, it just looks wilted. It doesn't look like it's dying necessarily. So I don't know, it's hard to say. Here you can see it looks like it's doing a pretty good job, like it's killing it. So I'm hopeful that that other area will die off. It may be that I let it go too long, that I let this stuff get too big. I should have sprayed it when it was small like this here. And that could be the reason it's doing what it's doing, you know. It's going to take longer because it was such a big plant. But up here on this end was a lot of this, looks like a creeping vine type stuff. That all looks like it's dying. It's all dead. So that's good. We'll let that go a couple weeks yet, and we'll see what it looks like then in a couple weeks, see if it actually makes the ground clear and we can tell where the switchgrass is growing and where it's not. I don't know. My understanding is switchgrass needs its space to grow. If you have too many weeds, it's not going to grow. So I'm having a hard time determining what is switchgrass, what might be regular grass. You know, down here a ways, it looks like there's grass, switchgrass growing. So right down in this area here, there's a lot of light little grass coming up, and I'm assuming that's the switchgrass. So I'm hoping it grows. I mean, this is one of the areas I really wanted to fill in here, was in front of my tree stand. I put some more popples up there against my stand to cover it up. I will have to come out with the saw someday and trim some of the branches, but I do that every year. Not every year, maybe every other year. I put those branches up like that just to camouflage my stand, and it really helps. I think it really makes a difference putting them branches up against there. So now I also sprayed this area by the watering hole, and I know that was about 2 weeks ago. I came out here with the bottle and sprayed this, and you can see it's turning brown, but a lot of it don't even look like it's been touched, you know. My point I'm trying to get at here is that if you go out and spray, you are not going to see results the next day. you are not going to see, you may not see results in 2 weeks, you know. It all depends on the weather you had after you sprayed. We had a lot of rain, so I sprayed in between where I thought I had a good day or so of not having any rain. This is the results I got, you know. So you gotta pick your days. I mean, you gotta pick your good, you got your good days and your bad days as far as the weather goes. But we had 7 inches of rain in 1 week here in Amberg. And we just had another probably 2 inches over this past week here. And it's crazy. I mean, my yard is all mush again over there, and I thought I had it halfway decent, dried up and smoothed out and everything, and it's all ruts again. So like I always say, it is what it is. But I just wanted to point that out, that just because you spray, you're not going to see results necessarily the very next day or the next week, you know, even 2 weeks. It takes a while for that spray to take effect. A few weeks back, actually back in spring already, I posted an ad on Marketplace. The ad was me, myself, and my tractor. And all I'm looking for is I'm looking for a little bit of work, some cash jobs. You know, if you need a food plot put in, or you need a little bit of landscaping done in your yard, you know, I'd like to come over there with the tractor and help you out. I do charge, you know. But if you know anybody in the Crivets, Amberg, Pembine area, you know, 20 or so mile radius from Amberg, Wisconsin, tell them to look me up. I'm on Facebook under Mark Klein, and you should be able to find my ad somewhere on Marketplace. It was in Crivets area, buy, sell, and trade, and some of the other local pages that were on there. You know, give me a call if you need any help with something. So I have my tractor, a bucket, a grapple, a backhoe, I have a cultivator, and I have a box blade that I use to do all this work that I do. I do not have a tiller. So if you're looking for a garden tilled, I can cultivate it for you and work it all up, but I do not have a tiller to till it for you. And I don't till any of my food plots. I just cultivate them, throw down the seed, and drag it in, and they grow just fine the way I do it. You know, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.